How are you? I'm Adele from Get Gorgeous. I'm a nutritionist. I'm interested in your gorgeous mindset, what's going on to stop you being so gorgeous, and I'm an exercise professional. This vlog is going to outline the real reason that you will never have long-term success on a diet. Diets are a trick. This vlog is going to outline why and how you've been tricked. It's very, very simple. It is a brain game. Diets know, or rather the diet companies have figured out that all we want, all we need is a quick fix. We are so busy. Time poor is our new mantra. It's my new mantra. I'm too busy. I'm time poor. Now, if you can have a diet prescription, and I use that word with meaning, a diet prescription or a diet product that's laid out on a plate, do you like what I did there? Then we're going to go for it. It's easy. Diets are appealing because we think that they're easy. And we think that they're going to work for a while. Because you are so busy and time poor, we're going to believe the promise. You don't have to think when you're on a diet. There's no energy involved. Well, what do you mean? Well, you don't have to think about what you're eating because the diet tells you what you're supposed to eat. And for a while, that works until your inner teenager, and you can call her what you want, inner critic, inner teenager, she's going to kick off. She is not interested in sticking to the rules. So when the lady from the diet club at the front says, I know everything, follow me, your inner teenager is going to say, no, she's had enough. She's fed up of feeling deprived. And that's when the diet crash cycle starts. You start beating yourself up because you've failed, although you haven't failed. You feel like you failed, so you start again. And it starts this whole cycle of self-loathing. So you a diet appeals because you think it's going to be a quick fix, and then you get exhausted, you get tired, you get told what to do, and you crash, and then you start feeling awful about yourself. It's horrible. The cycle failure hurts. The crash hurts. It hurts more than you know. It files a little I'm a failure subconscious message in your brain. It hurts more than you know. So the real reason is the psychology. Diets work because it fixes our to-do list in our brain. We know that women are busy. I know that you've got a million things to do. And diet companies know how we operate. Diets are a formula. They're rules. In our busy life, we want to follow the thread. We want to follow the rules. Rules to follow, no time to think. Just do it. Thinking time is a precious resource. We've got a million other things to do, and if somebody is going to tell us what to do, then we're going to follow it. So having a rule with a promised outcome is incredibly attractive. So how many diets have you been on? How many? Really? Why do you keep going on diets? I understand their appeal, but why do you keep doing it to yourself? Why does it still work for you or think it works for you? I was talking socially to two beautiful ladies this week in separate social occasions, and they were both explaining to me that they were going back on a diet. One was going to try the cabbage diet again, and a second was going to start putting aspartame over her food so that the food would be palatable again so that she could diet. Oh! And that whole thing about low fat and low enjoyment, that whole cycle starts all over again. So why you diet is, I think, very interesting. So I've explained the appeal, but why we do it is very interesting. And Gretchen Rubin, she talks about women, and she talks about the 4 tendencies, the 4 personality types that we have. I'm going to call her Gretchen from now on because we're pals. I think we are. But she talks about the 4 tendencies, and she explains that most women are obligers. Okay? That means we are happy to please. We are people pleasers. And what I mean is, if you've got your Pilates class, funny I should say that, and yet Johnny wants a new pair of trousers, or Johnny needs his trousers sewn up. I don't know where that story came from, but something like that happens. What are you going to do? Well, you're going to oblige Johnny. You're going to look after your family and you're going to put yourself second. So your Pilates class goes out the window. We are obligers. It's what we do. We are people pleasers. Look at it another way. You've got a PTA meeting and they've asked you to bake a cake for tomorrow. Or your boss has asked you to do a job and you need it done for tomorrow. You may moan. You may groan, but you're jolly well going to do it because you are a people pleaser and you are beautiful and you are an obliger. And that's why diets work, because you're fitting the rules. You're being told what to do, and so you oblige. To go back to Gretchen and her other 4 tendencies, there are questioners. There are people that say, okay, they're the rules, but am I really going to do them? And that's great, asking why you're going to do something. That's great, unless you ask too many questions and you don't actually get started. Or there's the upholders. I think I fall into this category. Upholders listen to what the PTA say, listen to what their boss says, listens to what Johnny says, and they make up their own rules as well. So there's an awful lot of rules for an upholder. There's a lot of stress and they're constantly knackered. Too many rules. And then there's the rebel. Well, a rebel speaks for themselves. They don't follow any rules, or do they? They actually, according to Gretchen, find somewhere that they can break the rules, like they join the military or they join something that they can actually argue against. So you have your 4 tendencies, your obligers, your questioners, your rebels, and your upholders. Most women, as Gretchen explains, are obligers, people pleasers. And that's why we fall into the diet trap, because it satisfies our need for rules and to follow the rules. So we have an objective, we want to lose weight, and therefore someone tells us what to do. Until the wise, the savvy, the annoyed inner teenager gets fed up of sticking to the rules. It happens. Unless it comes from your heart, you're not going to do it forever. Eventually, you're going to explode. So, education. If you know why you're doing something, if you follow a principle because it feels good to you, and you educate your inner teenager, you're not following a rule meaninglessly, you're following it for a reason, and you know that it's going to have a healthy outcome. And that's why we put healthy habits into that habit form. You establish them into the subconscious so that you never fail, you just go back to your old habit. Does that make sense? A habit doesn't need energy because it's there, it's something you do. And that's why Get Gorgeous works. It's not a rule, it's an education. Fine line, Adele. But you're educating your inner teenager so she follows you along. She's not going to rebel. She's happy. She's obliging. She's questioning. She can be all of those facets of your personality, and she follows along. Find some time for yourself. Look after yourself. Make yourself a priority. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. Have a chat, talk to me. I'd love to talk. You can click the link and let's talk about your nutritional habits. What are you doing right now? What you can do to change. Talk to me, Adele at Get Gorgeous. I'm a nutritionist, an exercise professional, and I'm very interested to know what type of tendency or personality you are so I can work with you. Take care. Bye.